If you're watching this, there's a good chance that you've had a quiet, nagging feeling for some time. Maybe you're watching your child struggle to make friends. Maybe school is slowly turning into a battleground. Maybe they're holding it together all day, but then they're melting down at home. Or maybe you just watched a video on another child and thought, hang on, that looks like my child. Is that what's going on here? Does my child have autism? Have I missed the signs all of this time? I'm a guidance counsellor and a behaviour support practitioner. I've worked in schools for over 20 years. I've parents and teachers in my office every week asking these exact same questions. This video definitely isn't about telling you that your child's autistic. They might be, they might not be. This is about working out whether that feeling of something being different is worth exploring more. One of the biggest reasons a parent might miss this is they're looking for a stereotype. Autism doesn't just have one look. I actually haven't met two people with autism that look or are the same. I want you to think of the autism spectrum as not a straight line from low to high, but a colour wheel. One child might struggle socially but be academically brilliant. Another might look socially confident, have good friends, but be completely exhausted by the noise, the rules, and the effort of the school day. In school-age children, I see two main broad patterns. Some are internalisers. They're the ones that are quiet, compliant, model students, but then they might completely shut down, or they're just burning out behind the scenes. Others are the externalisers. They're the ones that get labelled as difficult because they explode when their world feels unpredictable or overwhelming. What's important to understand is this: autism hasn't just suddenly appeared out of nowhere. What you're seeing is the point where the environment's finally exceeded your child's ability to cope, and now you're noticing things you didn't see before. When parents or teachers come to me, we might look at the clinical checklists, but we talk about them in real life terms. If we're looking at a child with autism, these are the things that we'll be looking for. Social communication. Clinically, we talk about emotional reciprocity. This is when we're talking about noticing another person's emotional cues, responding to them in a shared back and forth way, adjusting communication in real time. They use phrases from YouTube, movies, or games to communicate. They sound articulate, but they're relying on pre-packaged language that they've rehearsed to get them through social situations. I work with young people here in Australia who genuinely have American accents. That's because a lot of their social learning has been taken from screens. Non-verbal cues. You might see what I call the poker face. Their facial expressions don't quite match the situation, especially at school. Or they struggle with personal space, standing too close, or missing that there's people around them at all. Restricted interests or obsessions. Does your child genuinely become distressed if you take a different road to school? Or is their world centered around one or two topics that make them feel safe? And if they're pushed away from those topics, does it feel painful to them, or do they absolutely hate it? Sensory and executive function. Think about the world as a volume knob. Is the hand dryer, the shops, the tuck shop, or the classroom noise physically overwhelming? Or do they need more sensory input? Are they crashing into furniture or people just to get more input to feel regulated? And then there's executive function, what I call the brain's manager. Your child might be brilliant at maths, but forget their lunchbox every single day. They get stuck between tasks, not because they're being defiant, but because sequencing steps is genuinely hard. Other patterns to look for. If you're asking yourself, is this autism? Sometimes the best way to look at it is look past the behaviour and look at the amount of effort required to complete the task or to mask to try to look like everyone else. The 3:30 p.m. collapse. They're an angel all day, but then they melt down at home. Subtle stimming. They're chewing pencil toppers, pacing, twisting hair, tapping. These are all signs of self-soothing. And the eye contact myth. Some young people do make eye contact. Some of them are really good at masking. But it's about the amount of effort to do this. Is it a performance? Is it something that they struggle to do over a long period looking into someone's face? A diagnosis may be worthwhile because it can unlock funding and support. It may be also a good starting point for teachers to understand your child. They might be able to use strategies for when they've taught other people with autism, and then later on you can add to this knowledge of what actually helps your child. If you're ready for a bit more clarity, here's a simple place to start. First, start a pattern log. Just note down some of your observations for 1 week. Second, try a trial week. Parent your child as if they do have autism. Reduce the demands. Use visuals. Slow things down. If things do get noticeably easier, there's a big clue. And third, talk to your doctor. Take your notes to the GP. Say, I've noticed patterns. I just want to explore whether my child has a neurodivergent or an autistic profile, and whether that explains why they're struggling. You'll need a referral to a pediatrician and likely a psychologist. Whether the answer is autism or something else, you're already doing something important. You're moving from, why are you doing this, to, how can I help you? You're not failing. The fact that you've made it to this point in the video shows how committed you are to helping your child. Hit the like and subscribe for more weekly content. I'll see you in the next one.